Question 3 of this exercise says, identify the numerical coefficients of terms other than constants in the following expression. So we have to find numerical coefficients of the terms other than the constant terms. So first of all, we will learn what are coefficients. Coefficients are basically constants by which an algebraic term is multiplied. Let's take an example of that. Let's say 5x y. So over here xy is multiplied by 5. So 5 is the coefficient of that term. Now using the same concept we will try to solve this question. So the first expression that is given is 5 minus 3t square. As 5 is a constant term, so we won't consider that. So the other term is minus 3t square. T is a variable over there, so its coefficient will be minus 3. As minus 3 is a constant term by which t square is multiplied. Now let's move on to the second part. In the second part, the expression that is given is 1 plus t square plus t cube. So the terms other than the constant terms are t square and t cube. As we can see that t is a variable over there. So t is multiplied by only 1. So the coefficient of t is 1. Similarly, in t square, the coefficient will be 1, and in t cube as well, the coefficient will be 1 only. Now let's move on to the third part. The expression that is given in the third part is x plus 2xy plus 3y. So the terms are basically x, 2xy and 3y. As we can see that in the first one x is a variable, so its coefficient will be 1 only. In the second one, x and y are variables. So 2 is the coefficient of that because 2 is the constant term by which we are multiplying xy. Similarly, in the third one, y is a variable. So its coefficient will be 3. Now let's move on to the fourth part. In the fourth part, the expression that is given is 100m plus 1000n. So the terms are 100m and 1000n. So these are the two terms we have in the fourth expression. So in 100m, m is a variable. 100 is the constant term, so 100 will be the coefficient of that. Similarly, in 1000n, n is a variable and 1000 is a constant term, so its coefficient will be 1000. Now we will move on to the fifth part. The expression that is given in the fifth part is minus p square q square plus 7pq. So the terms are minus p square, q square and 7pq. So p and q are variables. So the coefficient of minus p square q square will be minus 1. As p and q are variable, so minus 1 is multiplied by p square q square. So its coefficient will be minus 1. Similarly, in 7pq, p and q are variables. So we are multiplying with 7. So 7 is the coefficient of that as 7 is a constant term. Now let's move on to the sixth part. In the sixth part, the expression that is given is 1.2a plus 0.8b. So the terms are 1.2a and 0.8b. As a and b are variables over there, so its coefficient will be 1.2 and 0.8. Now let's move on to the seventh part. So in the seventh part, the expression that is given is 3.14 r square. So the term is basically the same, 3.14 r square. As r is a variable and 3.14 is a constant by which we are multiplying, so 3.14 will be the coefficient of that. Let's move on to the eighth part. In the eighth part, the expression that is given is 2l plus b. So when we multiply by 2, it will become 2L plus 2B. So the terms are basically 2L and 2B. As L and B are variables, so 2 will be the coefficient of 2L and 2 will be the coefficient of 2B. Because 2 is a constant term by which we are multiplying. Now let's move on to the ninth part. So in the ninth part, the expression that is given is 0.1y plus 0.01y square. So the terms are 0.1y and 0.01y square. As y is a variable over there, so in 0.1y, we are multiplying y with 0.1. So 0.1 is a constant, so its coefficient will be 0.1. Similarly, in 0.01y square, the coefficient will be 0.01.
To learn more about how QMath can help you crack school and board exams, explore QMath Leap, a live online classroom program run by highly experienced and committed teachers.